Hi, I'm Pete McCall, and welcome to this episode of the All About Fitness podcast. This episode is going to be a quick fit tip where I talk about men's health. No, not the magazine Men's Health, but if you want to hear a great interview with the fitness editor for Men's Health, check back a few episodes where I interviewed Ebenezer Samuel. Eb is the fitness director for Men's Health or the fitness editor for Men's Health, and we have a great conversation about trends and information that you can get by reading Men's Health magazine. June is Men's Health Month. Well, what's that mean? What does men's health mean? It means all different components, right? What can we influence with men's health? Number one, we can exercise. Exercise is a huge component of health. Being active, it doesn't mean you have to go hit the gym for an hour and a half a day. That does help. But being active means being active 15, 20 minutes at a time. If you're getting back into the swing of things and life is happening and things are going crazy, taking 15 to 20 minutes for a walk, number one, can clear your mind. Number two, can reduce stress. Number three, 15 to 20 minutes of walking is better than a lot of nothing. So even on those days where you don't think you'll get in for your regular workout, get out for a walk. Here's another thing real quick about stress and walking. When you're in a period of stress, if you get that thing dumped on your desk at the last minute, or you get that email that's kind of getting you a little bit over the edge, and you feel your stress starting to increase, go for a walk. Stress, when you feel stress, it elevates levels of the hormone cortisol. Cortisol is a catabolic hormone. One of the things that cortisol does in times of stress, and that could be exercise, that could be other life stress, cortisol will release free fatty acids in the body. Now, if you're exercising, your body's going to use those free fatty acids for energy, especially at lower intensity. The body will consume when you're below the first ventilatory threshold, that's VT1. You can still breathe and talk comfortably while you're exercising. When you're exercising at a lower intensity, your body will use primarily free fatty acids for fuel. That's what cortisol does. When you feel that stress level, when you feel that stress increase, you're going to get that little energy surge. Okay, that's cortisol, that's epinephrine, and what those hormones are doing are releasing free fatty acids into your bloodstream for energy. That's why if you have a period of stress, get up and go for a walk, 10, 15, 20 minutes, because you're going to have more energy in your body. Now, if all you do is, if you get that stress, you get that phone call, you get that email, you have that conversation, and all you do is sit there and you kind of stew, number one, not that good for between the ears, but that's a whole nother conversation. Number two is those free fatty acids will be redeposited in the abdominal viscera. So by going for a walk, you burn the energy instead of restoring it. So men's health, that's one thing for stress control. Try to get out and move 15 to 20 minutes at least every day. Obviously, you've heard me talk. If you listen to the podcast, I talk about strength training, strength or power training 2 or 3 times a week. Metabolic conditioning, that's cardio training, getting the heart rate up 1 to 3 times a week. Doing 2 or 3 days or 1 to 3 days a week of mobility training like yoga, flexibility training, TRX training, bodyweight training, all that information. I have blogs on my website, Pete McCall Fitness, where I go into that. Both my books, Smarter Workouts and Ageless Intensity, go into that. The ebooks, if you really want a great guide for exercise, here's my plug for the podcast. If you want a great guide for exercise, pick up a copy of my book, Functional Core Training. I go into how you can structure the perfect week of workouts. A couple heavy strength days, a couple metabolic conditioning days, a couple movement days, just where you do bodyweight movement core training, and that'll keep you healthy. So back to men's health. Another component of men's health, I just recently wrote an article for the American Council on Exercise. That's this logo right here, that's the logo right there. Anyway, I'm a writer for the American Council on Exercise. I just recently wrote an article on testosterone. Testosterone plays a big role, especially as we get older. As men age, over the age of 35, men can produce less testosterone. That's called andropause. Men can produce up to 3% less testosterone per year if they do not exercise. Now, here's the good news for men's health. Again, just general men's health, not the magazine. Good news for men's health is heavy strength training increases testosterone levels. Power training, explosive training increases testosterone levels, according to the research. Sprinting, high-intensity interval training can increase testosterone levels. What else can increase testosterone levels? Diet. Eating a diet with healthy fats. Omega-3 and omega-6s HDL cholesterol is a component of testosterone. High-density lipoprotein cholesterol is a component of testosterone. So when you eat those healthy fats, it can help your testosterone levels. Combined with strenuous exercise, combined with good sleep and managing your stress. right? Because cortisol, there's a huge balance. Cortisol is high, testosterone is low. You're not going to be building muscle. If you can elevate testosterone and lower cortisol, you can build muscle, even in the later years. That's really cool stuff, according to the research. Another thing, like coming up, this is June. Normally, I get my checkup in the beginning of the year. We all know what's going on this year. This year's been crazy. I'm getting my checkup in a couple weeks in June. That's where you have to go get scheduled for your annual physical. I'm going to be 49 this year, right? I plan on being around a number of years. I mean, I had my kids late. My kids are still in elementary school. I plan on being around for a long time, which means I see my doctor at least every year for an annual checkup. I got vaccinated from COVID-19. Believe me, I'm a little nervous about taking a vaccine that spent like 2.5 weeks developing, but that's a whole nother conversation. All this stuff goes to say that in the last 120 years, at the turn of the 19th century, when we went from the 1800s to the 1900s, the average life expectancy for the male adult was about the age of 50. Think about that. In 1900, the average expectancy for the American adult was about the age of 50. If you're over the age of 50, hey, you're playing with fire in the early 1900s. In the last 120 years, what have we done? We have public health. We know to wash our hands. We use vaccinations. We know better nutrition. We know the role of exercise. Now, men and women live until their late 70s. I think men live to about 76 in the latest survey information I saw. Women live to 78. So we've added years of our lifespan in the last 120 years through these public health means. That means go to your doctor, get your checkup, get the prostate check. I know it's not comfortable. I mean, he doesn't even give me a flower or buy me a nice dinner before he does that, but hey, whatever. Get the things checked out. The more, if you're regular with your checkups, things get caught early. Listen to your body too. I mean, trust me, guys. We know this. I love to train hard. But now, if my knee hurts, I back off. If my shoulder hurts, I back off. I do something else. I find another way to get my heart rate up. Listen to your body. Pain means that something's going wrong. So there you go. So for Men's Health Month is June. I got a couple great interviews coming up, a couple killer interviews coming up to try to help you jumpstart your efforts on men's health. You can take control. You can go see your doctor, get your annual checkup if you haven't done that. I know doctors' offices have been crazy the last year or so, but they're starting to come back down. I know it took me a while to get scheduled, but I'm doing that, and I want to hold you accountable for doing the same thing. Hey, guys, if you're having trouble getting back on the plan, getting back on your regular nutrition, meet with an RDN. I just had the interview with Angie Ashley of Elite Nutrition. Speak to an RDN. Find out what you can do to eat better, to eat healthier, because the right nutrition can help you control your weight, but also help achieve optimal health. Lift hard, use high-intensity training, elevate levels of testosterone, expend your energy, manage your stress. Another thing that we can do to manage stress, and I try this, I'm not perfect, but I try it, is meditate. Work on meditation, being mindful, bring that heart rate down. Just 5 to 10 minutes a day of just being still can make a big deal. Watch what you eat. Don't eat the stuff you know you're not supposed to eat. Try to limit sugar, all that fun stuff. Follow a good workout program. And if nothing else, try to get up and move for 15, 20 minutes at least once a day. If you can do it multiple times a day, great. Those days you can't make it to the gym. All that stuff adds up. Oh, the final thing is sleep. You heard me talk about, I did a quick fit tip about sleep recently. I'm trying to find a couple experts on sleep so I can go into a deeper dive with it and give you more information. But I really want to highlight, it was a couple episodes ago, what the study showed, what this one long-term study showed, is that people who got less than 6 hours of sleep in their middle ages were at 30% higher risk of developing dementia and Alzheimer's as they aged. These are things that we can control, folks, right? We can control the amount we exercise. We can control our nutrition. We can try to control our stress. We can control our sleep. The evidence is accumulating there about how we can use this stuff. Not only achieve optimal health, this goes for men and women, this optimal health for everybody, but if we do it right, it can help extend our lifespan. I got a couple great interviews coming up. Also, hey guys, just to let you know, if you look back in the podcast, I found out I didn't have things configured right, and I got a couple changes in the podcast coming up. I'm not ready to announce them 100% yet, but I got some really cool changes coming up in the podcast. I can't wait to share them with you. It's going to be so awesome. But one of the things I've done is I've figured out how to access I've done over 300 episodes of this podcast. I was surprised at how many I've done. Some of them have been repeat, but if you now scroll down, however you listen to the podcast, iTunes, Spotify, you can see all the episodes I've ever done are now available to you. So if you like the podcast, do me a favor. Number one, give us a review. Let us know what you think about the podcast. Number two, share it with your friends. Share it with your network. If you do an email, if you're in fitness and you do an email, feel free to share older episodes too if you find them relevant to your audience. By all means, feel free to share them via social media. If you have any ideas for topics that you have coming up, please reach out to me. I'm always open for new ideas if it's relevant to the entire audience. My email is pete@PeteMcCallFitness.com. Hey, if you go to my website, sign up for my email list, you're going to get some great information in your email box 1 or 2 times a month. Great information that you can use to learn how to use exercise to not only enhance your quality of life, but to extend your lifespan. Ageless Intensity is up for pre-sale. Ageless Intensity will be out in August. Smarter Workouts is available. Functional Core Training. I have a couple other ebooks, Dynamic Anatomy. All these are resources, and I mean this, these are resources to help you learn how to use exercise to enhance your quality of life and extend your lifespan. That's my goal for you. That's why I'm here. That's why I do the podcast. That's why I write what I write. That's why I create the content I create. Is, hey guys, look, we can't do anything to stop the passage of time. But what we can do, what we fundamentally can do, use exercise and other lifestyle interventions to enhance our quality of life and the extended amount of time that we have here. So as always, thank you for stopping by, and I certainly look forward to having you join me for future episodes of All About Fitness.